And hello everyone. Um Been a while since I've been here. But working on some things in the background. Gonna have a lot of good products coming up. Just enhancing the stream, all of that good stuff. So that's coming soon. But figured I'd hop on and give a quick update over this quick all this potentially dangerous winter weather that's going to occur across much of the South tonight. Um, so yeah, as you can see, here's the National Weather Service landing page, and you can see a winter storm watch is in place for southeastern Oklahoma, northeastern Texas, most of Arkansas, northern Louisiana, northern Mississippi, and western Tennessee. Um, so yeah, we'll dive in, talk a little bit more about what this watch is for, timing, and what you can see and what you can expect to see. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and go over to the College of the page, numerical weather models, and we'll go ahead and start at the GFS. We are about to get a new weather model in about the next 2-3 hours, so we'll have more data coming in then. But for now, let's go ahead and give a outlook of what we can expect to see. So this is about 3 hours ago. So we'll just move this along and show you about when the storm starts occurring. Nothing yet. You can see this blob of snow coming in down off the Rockies. It digs into the Texas Panhandle, and boom, it just kind of blows up. Again, we're about 36, 40 hours away from really the snow starting and really when it may start to stick. But as you can see, Oklahoma, North Texas, Arkansas, and then Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Southern Indiana, Southern Illinois, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and then this swings up the coast. This is a little far out to be confident in at the moment, but could be seeing a blizzard type conditions in the Northeast. Again, that's a little bit further away. Don't have great data on that yet, so just wanted to call that out though. So this is the storm system we are going to talk about. Um, and I'll go ahead and lead this off by saying 1 to 2 degrees can make all the difference with these types of systems. So we're talking about there being a very fine line between rain, snow, and freezing rain. Out in Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, it's primarily going to be between rain and snow. But as you move towards the southeast U.S., it's going to be between snow, freezing rain, and rain. And I always say freezing rain's the worst possible combination of it because it's slicker than snot. Your tires can't grip. It brings down trees and power lines and causes power outages. And these areas down here don't really see significant winter weather. I think the last time Atlanta has seen a major winter weather event, and I say major very lightly, is in 2014. So what? That's 11 years ago. So several years ago. So could be catastrophic in some areas. But again, couple of degree temperature difference makes all the difference. This thing is going to change every time we get new data in, and we're going to have to fine tune the forecast several times. That's part of the reason why I haven't been talking about this event hours or days out because if you paid attention yesterday, Dallas was under the bullseye, and let's go ahead and switch to the estimated snow accumulation and just kind of play out. You can see that's not really the case right now. So Dallas may get a little snow. Most of it won't stick. Probably isn't going to be a travel hazard if this current model trend continues. But again, it could slip back south and Dallas could be back in the bullseye. But from what I'm seeing from the model trends, it's slightly north each time we get a new run in and the latest weather data in. So let me just go ahead and play out this storm. So you can see publish all your 8-inch rains of snow. This darker blue is going to be 3 to 4 to maybe 6 inches. And then light blue is like 1 to 3 inches, and everywhere else is basically dustings. Um, Bright pink goes up to 2 foot, but pinks are normally around a foot of snow. And this is just snow that's falling. It doesn't really take into account what's sticking to the ground, and definitely not what's sticking to the roadways. The roadways will, except for bridges and overpasses, will take a little bit while to accumulate snow and get slick. But I do anticipate difficult travel conditions along I-40 and Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio. Definitely these areas, West Virginia. Travel will be difficult to impossible shortly after the snow starts falling. Um, Now, this is the snow, which is probably the most fun to talk about of the three, but probably the most dangerous of the three is going to be freezing rain. And this is very difficult to forecast where these lines are, where the amounts are going to be. So things are going to be difficult. This is the GFS model that we are looking at, and this is the 18Z. We'll take a look at the NAM next, but wanted to give a baseline of the GFS and show what that is showing. So you can see freezing rain, a little bit in Arkansas, Louisiana, and then Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina is really going to be the target area for the most freezing rain. And you may say there's only a tenth of an inch of freezing rain, a quarter of an inch in some areas. Well, that's a lot. Anything over 5/100ths of an inch, you start to get very slick roadways, and a tenth of an inch is a thick coating on tree limbs and power lines, and the tree limbs can break, fall on the power lines, and they start arcing, and you lose power. So definitely a very real possibility, especially as you get into these more wooded areas in the southeast. Um, so yeah, Arkansas 10th to maybe 2/10 of an inch is most likely. Georgia, there's spots where it's maybe a quarter of an inch of ice, and tenth of an inch. Same with South Carolina, and then it trails off as you move north to North Carolina. So again, let's show what the GFS is showing. We'll bring that storm back. It moves through Oklahoma, stays there for about a day, day and a half, moves on, and then kind of moves rather quickly. Talking about another day, and as this moves across. So let's go ahead and switch to the NAM model. We'll go ahead and show this model. It goes out to 84 hours. And then we'll also go back and see some of the history behind it. In the meantime, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. It helps the channel grow. And yeah, I'd appreciate it. I'll try to do another video at some point tomorrow. Because again, this situation is highly fluid. So let's go ahead. You can see that storm system coming up. Boom. The NAM still has it on the southern track, kind of this storm. So you may see, okay, Dallas is a bit more under the bullseye here. Freezing rain though along the Arkansas border, and then it pushes off. Tennessee, you notice heavy snow, heavy freezing rain in middle Georgia. And then it pushes off again, going off to the northeast like we talked about before. So I like to call it a NAM, the bullish model. It likes to over exaggerate stuff, just some of the assumptions it makes. So it's not always the most reliable, but again, it's another tool in our tool belt to kind of see how things progress. So let's go ahead and show what the NAM is showing snowfall throughout the 84-hour period. Again, you can see about 8 inches in southeastern Oklahoma and Arkansas, about 4 inches in southeastern Oklahoma, south of Tulsa, basically southeast of I-44 in Oklahoma. Down to Dallas, you're getting about 3 inches of snow. Again, this is just what's falling through the atmosphere. It doesn't account for melting. It doesn't account for road differences, grass temperatures, any of that. So what you'll see stick to the ground is going to be significantly lower than this. I know the ground's pretty cold, but that's only at the surface level. As you go deeper, the ground's still fairly warm, so it won't have quite the sticking power, although it will be enough to cause travel conditions and concerns. But again, as I keep saying, the freezing rain is really what we are going to have to watch out for, and the NAM is saying let's cause some chaos with this. You can see 2 to 5 tenths of an inch of freezing rain in central Texas. Again, 5 tenths of an inch in this area would be catastrophic. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the NAM is a bit too cold. It's bringing the cold a bit further south than it should. So these conditions won't be quite there, and I expect a more consistent temperature profile throughout the atmosphere. And then you can see it wants almost an inch of freezing rain in central Georgia. I doubt that's going to happen again for the previous reasons. Also important to note, there's an orographic feature on the Appalachian Mountains here, so that's going to cause some errors within this model. But you see South Carolina having about 3-4 tenths of an inch of freezing rain. If this were to verify, it would cause widespread power outages, impossible traffic. Again, they aren't used to getting winter weather down here, so they don't have salt and stuff in the quantity needed to treat all the roads. So very hazardous travel if this were to occur. Let's go ahead and go back to the GFS model. Let's go back to the precipitation type and just kind of pick out a couple of points as this storm starts to occur. So this is about 40 hours out. So let's go ahead and pick a point about Dallas, Texas. Now what I'm bringing up is called a meteorological sounding. And basically this just gives us a profile of the atmosphere. And what we're concerned about is this rightmost dashed blue line that I'm hovering my mouse over. This is basically the freezing temperature. And if I zoom in here, you'll notice this red line. That's the actual temperature of the air, or the simulated actual temperature of the air. Couple things I'll call out here at this time. Temperature is 35, so things that fall will not freeze. And also, it drops below freezing up in the upper atmosphere. So you'll get a cool layer, but there's quite a big what we call melting layer here. Basically the snow and the clouds will melt and become rain, and then it will try to refreeze, but this is a very shallow nose, so it won't quite freeze, so you'll just end up with a cold rain at this point in Dallas. So a little further north, let's do south central Oklahoma. You'll see a completely different profile here. You'll see, hey, it's all at 0 or well below 0 degrees Celsius or freezing. All numbers you see here are in the metric system, so Celsius. So yeah, you'll notice red line is basically right on that blue line. Nice and deep cold layers, so snow will be cold. It'll fall. It probably won't melt. You could see some sleet mixed in with it though, since it does get above freezing, and then it will refreeze by the time it gets to the surface because there's quite a bit of a cold layer here. And again, that's what's causing the mostly snow at this point in time. We step forward a couple of hours, 6 hours. Let's again choose Dallas. You'll notice that the profile does tend to stay warmer in this solution. So you may see snow, but it's going to melt and be kind of a sloppy mass and be more subject to melt when it hits the ground. So quite cold, but making it to the ground is going to be a challenge with this sounding. So again, right now Dallas does not look under the bullseye for this, but that could change in 6 hours when we get the new model run. And it could change again in 12, 18 hours. As we continue to get more data in, this thing's going to rapidly change. Let's go ahead and look at this freezing rain solution here. This is along the Arkansas-Texas border. So a couple things here. You'll notice this code. So rain will be cool. It will fall. It's be above freezing here. This is what we call a warm nose. Basically, it just melts any frozen precipitation. And then you'll notice the ground temperature is right around 32 degrees. So the freezing point of water. So things will freeze on contact, especially with elevated surfaces. Things that have wind are surrounded by air. That's right, bridges freeze faster, along with the wind, evaporating water, and actually cooling the bridge further. So that's where we will start to see the freezing line set up. So this will be day of that we will know, hey, here's where the freezing line is. Here's what's everywhere north of this is going to see freezing rain / snow further up, but everything below it, it's just going to be a cold, miserable rain, which is the preferable option of every solution. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and move forward a little bit more again. Let's go ahead and start looking at this Georgia freezing rain. This is probably one of the more concerning areas. Again, this freezing rain. You'll notice the 32 degrees right at freezing. So again, it freezes when it makes contact with the surface. And it stays right around freezing for most of the profile in this, which means that once it makes contact, the water doesn't have to change temperature much at all to get to freeze and create that layer of ice. This could almost be sleet, judging by this profile. You got a cold layer, but you have this very brief warm layer. That's only about 500 meters thick, maybe 250, and then you have about 3 kilometers of frozen layer. It really depends on where this temperature is in the lowest 1 kilometer, if this will be sleet or freezing rain. Sleet is a whole lot better than freezing rain because the ice crystallizes around itself and you get a little bit more traction. It doesn't stick to power lines. So if that happens, that's the best thing that can happen in kind of this Georgia, middle Georgia area. Now, again, 1 to 2 degree temperature difference is a world of difference in these. So be on the lookout for that. Again, let's go ahead and go to northern Alabama here in the same time stamp. You'll notice it's completely below freezing, so that's snow. So this is kind of like the second best solution here. It being all snow, it's gonna melt, freeze a couple times. But you'll get tire traction and it won't stick to power lines as much. It's gonna be kind of a wetter snow though, so it will be kind of heavy. Just something to keep in mind. You'll notice ground temperature again is 31, 32, but again the profile is completely below freezing, so it will fall as snow at this point. And then we'll go ahead and move to South Carolina, another 36 hours in future. Again, this is kind of playing hopscotch with that freezing line a couple times. So I don't know exactly what the outcome of this. You may get some funny looking crystals in ice. So Well, it'd be kind of cool to see what the actual output of this is. But freezing melts right here, or semi melts, and then it refreezes, semi melts, and then falls. Probably has water at this point, like a very cold water. And as soon as it hits the ground in this solution, it will crystallize due to the below freezing temperatures. And then we move on out, and then that's kind of this winter event. Let's go ahead and check on the Northeast during this time around New York City. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. And I'll try to answer them. Again, I don't think I'll do totals tonight. I'll do a brief overview of kind of the range of solutions you can see, but there's just so much uncertainty of what type, what amount that any numbers I give out will kind of be wrong. I'll give out numbers for Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas. That's kind of the area where we have some confidence at this juncture in time. But again, you see that snow, all snow, freezing. So nothing too surprising now. Yeah. So again, here's kind of the GFS. We'll go ahead and move to the total snow accumulation. We'll move back a model run. So 12Z had it 6 hours before this run, had it in the same location. 6Z, you can see it a little further south, and then 6 hours before that. You can see it's been pretty consistent more north all day. So, just kind of a sign that, hey, we're gaining confidence in Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri area. So, yeah. So you can see 7 inches on the GFS. NAM has about the same. It's a little bit final resolution. So what this indicates is basically saying, hey, we may see a couple bands of heavy snowfall throughout the day. And what that will do is increase these pockets of heavy accumulations. So some locations will see more than this 6 to 8 inches. Wouldn't be out of this ward to hear of one location measuring a foot of snow. Not likely, but not impossible. Again, 3 to 4 inches for most of Oklahoma, southeastern Oklahoma. Same for Arkansas and Missouri, 3 to 4 inches. Definitely not the most snow, but again, this area isn't used to seeing a ton of snow. So again, just mousing over, you can see pockets of 7 inches, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, bands, you can get an inch to 2 above that. Not seeing any big convection events with this, so not seeing any insane totals that are way above if you happen to get a snow thunderstorm above you. That's the snowfall portion of it. Let's go ahead and do the freezing rain. And again, that's just snow that falls to the ground, so it has to stick. Ground temperatures are fairly cool out here over the past few days. So we may see an inch or 2 lower than that, but still plan on about 6 inches of snow being on the ground. Southeastern Oklahoma, Arkansas, maybe 2 to 4, most rest of Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri. As far as freezing rain, I think these values are a little bit high. I'd say at most probably a 1/10 of an inch out here in southern Arkansas. Some of this may be sleet too, as it falls. So just something to be aware of. And then this may melt fairly quickly because we do have warm air coming up from the Gulf of Mexico. So that's kind of the totals that I'm comfortable with giving out right now. Just as we go in the next couple of days, there's just a lot of dynamics at play. You have the Atlantic Ocean and you have the Gulf of Mexico that just haven't had a great solution ran for it yet. I don't think the HUD goes out that far, but we can check the HRRR model. So you can see it just kind of banding in this event. This model so far is keeping it further to the south, but there's also this pocket to the north, which is interesting. So have to keep an eye on that. But what's interesting is this freezing rain accumulation. It's a little bit further south and seems like it's trying to have a thicker layer of freezing rain in terms of area covered. But this will continue to come into play as we get closer. The HUD is typically a day of model solution, so take this with a large grain of salt, if you will. A couple of other models, just as I give a chance for any questions that need to come in that you have, I'll try to answer them. I don't really like this model, how it's trying to produce this narrow band of snow. Doesn't seem likely from what I've seen so far, so yeah. But yeah, if you're just joining, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. It helps the channel grow. And I'll try to have a forecast video out sometime tomorrow, just detailing the severe weather on this winter storm threat. My brain's still in fall, talking about severe weather. But no, this is a potentially dangerous severe weather event. Again, this will cause significant impacts to travel. May have some power disruptions if it does go more of a freezing rain type beat. But my biggest concern is again the southeast region, just because they almost never deal with this type of weather. And if the freezing rain solution comes close to being true, we're talking about power outages, communities taking days, maybe a week or so to recover, maybe restore power lines. It's just a lot of dangers in this area with trees, roads that don't get maintained for winter weather. The highways will be okay after a couple of days, but all the side streets and stuff will be slick until we get that warm air turning in. It will melt if it does get the higher solutions. And then you get a layer of snow on top. It's just kind of like the perfect combination for it to stick as long as possible. Alright, yeah, I think that's all I had planned to show. We'll go ahead and drill down into some National Weather Service forecasts before we leave. This is from the Norman office. So probability of 1+ inch snowfall. You can see south of I-44, 50 to 80%, 80% down further south. And they're just saying surge temperatures are going to be the cause of keeping this up. Have to see. In my experience, they'll typically overestimate the surface temperatures that they'll be higher than what they are. So I'm just something to keep in mind. There is a winter storm watch for 2 to 5 inches in this area, so something to keep an eye on. Let's move to Tulsa. This is 3 to 7 inches. McAllister, Poto, Hugo area in Oklahoma. Let's go to Shreveport. Shreveport's 2 to 6 inches for the county Sun, Tyler, Longview, Shreveport, Homer, El Dorado, and North. Monroe North even. So you can see 2 to 3. They put out what's like a 1 in 10 chance of happening, which is like a reasonable worst case scenario. 2 to 4. You can see as you go north, the totals get higher. Ice accumulations. This is the one that is the most dangerous. 10th of an inch is the most likely, but up to a quarter of an inch if the worst case verifies. Let's go north. So you can see kind of here the official forecast is 6 to 8 in Hot Springs, Little Rock, Pine Bluff, and Mana. here's kind of a nice map that you have a January 9th and 10th of snow over 4 inches. So, just kind of a good map to keep in mind. 20 to 30, greater than 50, 20 to 30. So, and then as we move off to Tennessee, this is kind of the end of the current winter weather watch. I expect more to be issued tomorrow, and start to see some ice storm watches and windstorm warnings, ice storm warnings start to pop up. Again, here right now it's only 3 inches. We'll see how the forecast continues to evolve. Again, it is a little bit early for this area, but we do have starting to get a good idea of what is probably going to happen. But yeah, I think that's all I had. Been going for about 30 minutes. Again, have a video up at some point tomorrow. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.